Okay, welcome back. So today we're going to talk about tuning. And as you can see in front of me here, I've got all sorts of tuning options that are available for the Genesis G70 and also the Kia Stinger, since they share the same platform. And the three types of tuning solutions I'm going to talk about are piggyback tunes, or tuning boxes as they would be referred to in Europe. Then we have ECU tunes. So sorry, this is an example. JB4 is a piggyback. And then over here we have the race chip, which is a piggyback. And then Lap 3 also makes a piggyback called Pro Tuner. The second type is the ECU tune. As you can see here, this is a Lozic ECU tune. Lap 3 makes an ECU tune. Torque Motorsports makes an ECU tune. And tuners through EK1 make ECU tunes. That's the third type of tune. That's called a flash tune. Okay, so to sort of start it off, the most basic tuning, and again, this is, my opinion, and some people may disagree with some of the things I say, but sort of take it for what it is and make your own decisions. The most sort of basic, I would say, type of tuning is the tuning boxes slash piggyback. So that would be the JB4, that would be the race chip, and that would be the Pro Tuner from Lap 3. Now, that doesn't mean that basic is bad, and it doesn't mean that it is less capable. They just have different options and features, pros and cons. So as an example, I would say that the race chip here, the GTS, now I just got this and I haven't installed it in the car yet. This is the most basic tuning box slash piggyback that you can buy. It's very, very simple. It's got 3 plugs. You plug those plugs in under the engine bay. They're in fairly accessible locations. This here, part of the tuning box here, this part of the piggyback sits somewhere under the hood. It can really be anywhere. You mount it, and then you can select from 1 to 7 maps 1 through 7. And also there's an app on the phone, so your iPhone or your Android, and you can have those maps 1 through 7 mapped to eco mode, sport mode, and race mode. Okay, so that's the most basic version of a tuning box slash piggyback. Then you get into the JB4 and you get into the Pro Tuner from Lap 3. They are the more advanced versions, and I would say that probably, and I could be wrong, but probably JB4 is the most advanced piggyback on the market. It's widely used, and in the Kia Stinger and Genesis G70 community, highly regarded. Okay, and then you have, so actually I'll cover now some of the differences. So on the JB4, you have several maps available to you. Some are pre-tuned, some you can modify yourself, and it's got all sorts of other things such as water meth injection, CPI, and it's got more connections and more hookups so that it can do more than something like the race chip, and probably more than the Pro Tuner as well. JB4 is used by most serious tuners. Even if they're not using the JB4 specifically, they could be using the JB4 with an ECU to log what the ECU is doing, or they could be using the JB4 with a back-end flash on the EK1 with, say, for example, a Burger Motorsports back-end flash tune. And so the JB4 gives you just a lot of flexibility to be able to log everything that's happening, make adjustments, and the support from JB4 is fantastic. So I am a fairly big proponent of JB4. Now, having said that, the race chip is a more basic system. You don't have the logging capabilities. You don't have capabilities to add in water meth injection or plug into the OBD2 port to monitor what's going on and make adjustments. So there's not a big, as comprehensive of a feedback loop. However, the race chip, for the people that have used the race chip, every person that I've ever seen online and talked to has reported back that this is a a very well-made product, and it's just so easy to plug in. It works well, and there's no issues. The other thing that's wonderful about the race chip is that the company itself has a $10,000 US engine warranty. So if something should happen that's caused by the race chip, they will honor that warranty and you know, replace your engine or do whatever is required to make you whole. So, you know, I think both of these solutions are great solutions. Obviously, if you're going to get into higher horsepower or you want more control, it's going to be the JB4. If you want something basic, plug and play, that gives you a, you know, a modest level. This is kind of the entry level of power. I think the race chip advertises that your car would go to, I think it was 420 horsepower or 430 horsepower and about 520 foot-pounds of torque or something like that. So it's a pretty substantial jump in power, and people report that drivability with this product is quite good. I don't know that yet. I will test it one day, but I haven't yet. The JB4 can obviously go, you know, just based on what I mentioned, can go much further. You know, a lot of JB4 cars are running, you know, low 11-second quarter miles, and then paired with other tuning solutions even faster. So it's also a great product. Now I'm not talking too much about Lap 3 Pro Tuner, which is their Piggyback, just because since they've come out with their ECU tune, I don't see a lot of people getting that Piggyback. I think that anyone who, or for the most part, anyone who's going Lap 3 is now going Lap 3 ECU. Lap 3 is a highly, highly regarded company, and their tunes are really well done. And then here we have Lozic. So Lozic is also a highly regarded company and makes some great ECU tunes for the G70 and for the Stinger. The difference here is that Lap 3's tunes are fairly canned in that they sort of have a stage 1, a 1.5, a 2.5, and so on. And they're well sorted out, and you, from what I see online, the people who have them love them. The difference with Lozic is that he is very sort of amenable to customizing a tune to your liking. And so, for example, he has a 1.2 and a 1.3 bar tune, so that's different than a stage 1 or stage 1.5 or stage 2.5. He doesn't really name his by stage. It's more done by, well, how much boost do you want, and that's how he does it. So his 1.3 bar tune, I've had that tune on my previous G70 2019, and I can say that it was an absolutely fantastic tune. And I've talked to other reputable people in the industry, and they also think his 1.3 bar tune is outstanding. Okay, and then also we have Torque Motorsports over here, and he also, from what I can understand or what I see, I don't have experience with his tunes, but from what I read online, he's got also multiple options. He's pretty flexible with how he'll tune your car for you. So you can see on this paper, it says Kia Hyundai 3.3 twin turbo stage 0, stage 1, and he can go all the way up to, you know, the big stages as well. The interesting thing is that on his stage 0 tune, it's kind of nice. It's almost like the equivalent to the race chip in the ECU tuning market, where the stage 0 is kind of like a stock plus kind of tune, and so you can stay on 91 octane. You know, no changes other than the tune required to your car other than spark plugs, but I'll get into that. And you can run stock intake and all that kind of stuff, and it'll give you a nice performance bump, and it'll run well, and so on. Now, one thing I'm not covering here is TCU tunes, that's transmission control unit. I think they'll do that in another video. But some of these vendors offer TCU tunes, and they change the transmission programming. So I'll get into that in another video. Okay, so I've had experience directly with JB4. I've had experience directly with Lozic, and I will have not yet, but I will have direct experience with the race chip. I'm going to try that on my car. Now, the thing that is nice about the race chip, so just for a comparison's sake, the race chip, I got it on sale for $370 US, And the JB4, although, you know, much more capable product, is about twice the price. So, you know, if you want to spend the extra money, you're going to get a lot more headroom, obviously, with the JB4, because there's just so much it can do. You can switch maps from the app on the phone. You can switch maps on your windshield wiper stock. So it's very flexible. And it also does air-fuel ratio tuning, which the Racebox does not do. And so, you know, it's sort of, you get what you pay for kind of thing here, right? So again, the Racebox plug and play, it's a safe product. Lots of people have used it for 4+ years with 0 issues. JB4 also a safe product, just more capable. And then the ECU tunes now ECU tunes are completely dependent on the tuner, obviously, same as the tuning boxes. The EK1's a little different. The EK1 is also an ECU tune, except for the difference is, and maybe I'll take it out of the box here. So the EK1 is this little, I'll just put it on top of the Losic ECU here, is a little device that plugs into your OBD port, and you download a tune from the 6th website, which is SXTH, 6 Element, and they will have a list of tunes that are available for your car. And the interesting thing and the neat thing about that is that they have tunes available from different tuners that you can flash onto your stock ECU. The nice thing about that is you sort of get to pick your tuner of choice. So for example, Berger Motorsports makes back-end flashes for the EK1, and from what I've seen, they are the most popular and the most reliable. 6 also makes tunes for their own product here, the EK1. I've seen some good and some bad about those tunes, but I think that, you know, like in the industry with most tuners, when you're starting out, there's a lot to learn, and you know, there's going to be a little bit of growing pains. I haven't seen anything significant in terms of problems, but you know, just something to take note of. And then, so the idea with EK1 is you download the tune, you pay for it. They're generally fairly inexpensive. I think they're anywhere from $75 to $300. And you know, you download that tune onto your computer. It downloads onto the EK1 Lite. In this case, there's another one available now called EK1 Mini, which I believe is a little bit less expensive. And then you plug that into your car, and you flash that tune onto your car. There's a little bit of a process there, but it's nothing too difficult. And yeah, so once you've done that, now the one thing that you have to do with these tunes, you know, depending on your perspective, is, let's say for example you download a tune from, doesn't matter which company, onto here, you put it onto your car. The vast majority of people are going to have a JB4 on there to log the tune. So they want to see, well, what is this tune doing to my car? Specifically with the mods I have and the fueling I have. And by fueling, I mean the octane level. So as an example, if you have 91 octane, you're going to have to go with a lower stage tune. If you have 93 octane, you can go to a higher stage tune, like a little bump up. If you have, you know, meth injection, CPI, E30, all these different things, you go higher and higher up the ladder. But that's where it becomes more and more important to log. An interesting thing, so I have spoken directly to Losic at his company about logging a stage 1 tune, and I've also spoken to David over at Lap 3 about logging a stage 1 ECU tune. And both of them had the same opinion of, listen, these tunes are not significant enough that you need to have a logging function to check ignition timing and all that. You know, it's this is probably going to be the most controversial thing I might say on this video, but the fact is that the 3.3 in these cars is very stout. It's built very well. It's got sodium-filled valves, forged. It's got forged rods, and I have never seen a 3.3 have problems or blow up from knock or detonation. So I think that, you know, my understanding from, you know, both David and Lee over at Lozic is that, you know, on these lower sort of stage tunes, the ECU is going to take care of pulling ignition timing. And there's a whole relearning process that the ECU goes through when you first reflash it and plug it in to the car and get going. And so, you know, even on tunes that are pretty hot, and what I mean hot by hot is they have high ignition timing for what they are. Even then, you know, we're not seeing too many problems with these engines at all. So it would have to take a pretty significant amount of boost in timing over top of the octane level you have, like a discrepancy between the two, before you'd really see any problems. So you know, that's kind of an interesting comment from both, and they're both very reputable and good tuners, and so, you know, I think that's pretty important to call out. I would say probably the most respected or sought after tune in the business is the Lap 3. Lap 3 cars, I believe, currently have the quarter-mile record of 10.7, which is obviously pretty fast. And specifically, I've seen 10.7 on a G70, where the only other mod is air intakes. That's it. CPI, air intakes, and the tune, and that's it. And then running at 10.7 in the quarter mile. So that is really, really quick. The other one that I think is highly sought after and reputable on the Piggyback side is Terry Berger at Berger Motorsports. Really good to deal with. Answers questions very fast, very knowledgeable, and you know, the JB4 is a great product. Also, I've dealt with Lozic a lot, and he's a very flexible and amenable type person. Makes some great tunes, very customizable. You can basically ask for anything you want in a tune and he'll do it for you, which is both a pro and a con, actually, because I think what happens sometimes is that people ask Lozic for specific things, and then when they get them, they're not really sure, you know, they weren't really educated on what they were asking for, but he still gave them what they asked for. So I think that, you know, maybe sort of a situation there where people need to learn better what they asked for. And then over on the torque side, again, I don't know too much about torque, but I have, you know, seen results on some of his tunes online, and people who have run them have loved them, you know, and so I think that's really good. Now, there's also stuff online that about every single one of these products that's bad. Okay, there's bad stuff I've seen about torque, Lap 3, Race Chip, 6 and EK1, Lozic, and JB4. Every single one of them, I have read lots of bad comments, but overwhelmingly good comments. And so what I'll chalk that up to is a couple of things. So number one, people using these products that don't necessarily know how to use them properly. So that's key, okay? Number two, every one of these tuners started somewhere with this platform and had to develop their product over time. And the development of that product is trial and error. So you know, you're going to run into problems. That's just the tuning market, and that's just how it goes. And so I think that every single one of these have now developed their products to a very high level, and they're excellent products. And I think that, you know, when you go shopping for these, you know, evaluate all the pros and cons. What can these, well, you know, what can an ECU tune do? What can a tuning box or a Piggyback do? What can a flash device do? And what are all the pros and cons of each of these? I'll go back and say, you know, a lot of people talk about JB4 as a must-have so that you can log. So let's say, for example, you buy a Lap 3 stage 2.5. So there's the cost of that tune, and then if you want logging, you buy the JB4. So you have to kind of buy two. So it can get pretty expensive. Lap 3 tunes are the most expensive tunes on the market. And JB4 is, I don't think it's the most expensive Piggyback on the market, but it's definitely reasonably priced. But you pair the two together, and so that's going to be a pretty substantial cost, versus something like a stage 0 tune or a stage 1 tune from Torque, where you probably don't need to log it, which was the same with Lap 3. If it's a stage 1 tune, you probably don't need to log it, and same with Lozic. 1.3 bar. When I had that tune, I logged it. It was great. I don't really believe that you need to log those sort of lower stage tunes, and the same with the race chip, right? It's a basic Piggyback tuning box. I don't think it needs any logging. I think the ECU will take care of everything, and they back it up with a, you know, a $10,000 warranty. So, you know, it just really depends on what you're looking for in a tune and the stage that you want to go to. Inevitably, we always want more and more power. So, you know, you might want to just grab a JB4, start there. JB4 will get you lots of great gains. And then if you want to step it up one day, then maybe you go to JB4 with the back end flash. Maybe you go to a Lozic. Maybe you go to a Lab 3 stage 2.5. Maybe you go to a Torque custom tune. You know, it's really, it's up to you. And, you know, but the most important thing is to do your research. So I think I've, you know, given an overview here that will help a few people. If you have any questions, pop them below into the chat. I'm sure we're going to get a little bit of a healthy and lively debate going, because I'm sure some of the things I've said will be controversial. But I think that's a good thing, and it's kind of my perspective on what I've seen in this on this platform. And I've been with this platform now for just over 6 years. I've had 2 G70s in 2019 and now in 2023. And so have a fair bit of experience and understanding on how these work. And I tried a couple of them myself, a few of them myself, and you know, I've had good success with all of them. So that's it for now, and look forward to seeing you in the comments. Take care.